When last we left our intrepid adventurers, we were about to fight a cube. Cube!
Oh, yes.
Yes. Actually, no, we were finishing the fight.
The final boss.
There were...
Cube.
Yes, it's just
Boop, 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 boop,
the
boop,
final
boop.
boss is a rock that's sitting on a post
It's a
in
one-
the middle of the room.
Rock on a
1 meter
plinth.
by 1 meter by 1 meter cube on a plinth.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
It's deadly dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Well, first we had to finish the fight with the Warforged Behemoths.
Right.
The Hammer Fix, they were called.
Yes.
And we did that. I don't think there was anything super interesting in that. We were
Just mopped them up.
We were wrapping up the fight from last time.
Yeah.
We'd already killed one. The remaining two were a bit battered up, and we had some pretty awesome tools to employ. So I don't recall there being any awesome, like, oh, this thing happened. We should talk about that. No. So we finished that, and then there's the cube in the middle of the room. And
Did you just flip it off the plinth and be
no.
like, flip the table, I win.
Shove it over. Hold it upside down in the toilet.
Yeah.
And flush it. No. I think we started discussing what to do about it, and Croesus was like, I go and pick it up. And so...
He starts telling it that it's a deserter and
Yeah.
it needs to listen to the law. And
Gonna
he just
take
goes
it,
and
take
picks
it
up.
Right.
There is some time pressure because there's a bunch of Warforged that are pounding on the doors, but those were wizard locked, so we got a bit of time. So anyway, and they apparently didn't know that we'd made a hole in the car wall, so
Right.
they didn't go around fine. So anyway, so Croesus goes to grab the thing, and we all like, no! And then Croesus, being Croesus, goes and grabs it anyway.
Right. How heavy is it? It's a stone, 1 meter by 1 meter.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not liftable.
Yeah.
Really.
But, you know, he was going to get started on lifting. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
As soon as he touched it, however, we go into the next phase of stuff.
Yes.
I
I wonder if John anticipated that Croesus would go touch it no matter what.
I'm sure that he figured we would have to mess with it somehow.
Right.
I mean, maybe there's something we could have done, like if we could shove the plinth out of the way and whip out the basement really
Right,
quick
yeah.
and fall like that. You know, it's like Jenga. You know, shove out playing real Jenga in the thing.
Well, you can put the basement on the floor and then just topple it
Topple
into
it over, yeah.
I feel like, you know, hey Google,
the mass.
how much does 1 cubic meter of granite weigh?
Find out the density of granite, and that's how many tons it will be. Because one
weighs
1 cubic meter of water is a ton.
Like,
That's that's
Yeah,
okay.
it's 1,000 kilograms. One ton.
It's
It's like 4 or 5.
it's roughly 2,700 kilograms.
yeah, okay.
Its
That sounds
density
right.
is 2,700
Yeah.
kilograms per cubic meter, so it's cubic meter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
2,700
I feel like
kilograms.
I've looked this up before.
Anyway, we never lifted it. We just touched it.
Right.
Well, Croesus touched it, and then
It's like
so
6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So
How did it ever escape from the oblong? Grew legs.
well,
it was on a cart.
I got some people. It got the Uruguay to come carry it
Right.
off. So
Trebuchet. That's how it ran away. Anyway.
I forgot to ask for a straw.
Ha. See, this
Now I
is
can't
nothing,
drink without
nothing
ice
but
in my face.
Suffering.
Quit whining.
So as soon as Croesus touches the cube, we get sucked into like this sort of vision thing that represents philosophical arguments in punching form.
Well, kind of. It didn't admit right away,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
But the Obelisk talked to the party and said, you know, you don't understand. You don't see what I see. I'm going to show you. And so the orrery above them starts going berserk, which the players all know is the Destiny prognostication engine, but the party probably doesn't know.
Yeah.
That. And they get pulled
AKA
into
the
it.
derp.
I don't know where the.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's an R in there somewhere.
I don't think there's a. Yeah. I've been abbreviating a DPE in my notes. But,
Yeah.
But in French, things are in a different order, so it's the derp.
Anyway.
Anyway, yes.
He pulls them in that to show them the
Yeah.
inevitable outcomes of the future.
You know,
without his meddling.
He could have just showed us stuff to begin with. Like, we can reason with this thing. But no, they're always unreasonable first. First, we'll try.
It's okay. It's just the ending of Fallout 1. You guys got this.
So, yeah.
So it shows you shows them the first vision of what the future will be if he doesn't interfere.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all a little bit dreamlike. So some of the stuff that was shown is like a little bit representational.
Mm-hmm.
But we are in Greybridge.
Mm-hmm.
Only there's like banners and stuff indicating it's been taken over by the Empire of Endless Flowers.
Oh no!
And so
They're
I'm
so
like,
awful.
I'm like, okay, things are going good so far.
They start in luxury.
Oh yeah, yes, we're like doing the reclining on the grape couches, where they give you the grapes.
And servants
The
are a
great-
little
the
scared
great-
of them, are like
Yeah.
serving them.
The
hand
great
and
gray
foot.
couches.
Yeah, the hedonism couches.
Okay,
But
yeah.
Croesus is not participating at all.
Yeah.
Because even when the Obelisk first starts talking to him, he's like, when the bad guys make you see visions, and when they talk in your head, you just don't listen.
Right.
Doesn't matter if what they're saying makes sense, you never listen. And so he's just like, everyone's just reclining on these couches, relaxing, he's just standing there, completely not participating.
Yeah. So yeah, at first it seems like a fairly traditional, like, you know, it's an imperial spa or whatever.
Right. In Greybridge.
In Greybridge. And I'm like, okay, so we're doing all right so far. And then what happened? There was
Some guards came in and said, "What are you guys doing here? You're not supposed to be here." And they dragged the party out.
yeah, and I'm like,
The Croesus is still standing there being dragged.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream, so they
Yeah.
didn't have any choice but to be dragged out.
yeah.
Dur-
I was
during
like,
that-
I'm kind of the queen. I'm allowed to be here.
Yeah.
but-
During the scuffle, they dragged out some other random person, and that person tried to fight back and
He
stabbed the
stabbed
guard.
the guard.
And
It did
a pain slave
thing.
scream came up from him, and he was totally fine.
And I was like, okay, this is dark future.
And whatever, that guy got killed.
Must put a stop to this.
And they took them down to where they belong, which is they took them through the streets of Greybridge to like the Undercity, to the slave pits, where there's just hundreds of slaves all chained up.
Yeah.
And they also observed like super advanced magical things, but they have like slaves chained into them that are clearly powering them. And there's like this whole power grid that's being powered by slaves in the Undercity.
Whatever's maximally evil,
Yeah.
they're doing that.
That's pretty bad.
It's like, you know, we could power this thing with a water wheel, but no, we're going to chain a bunch of slaves to the water wheel. So we're
Right.
constantly being dunked into
Yeah.
water. It doesn't actually accomplish anything. They're just slaves chained to it.
And then we demand they paddle harder.
And the whole time, Cross is like, it doesn't matter if this perfectly fits with exactly what I think will happen. I'm not gonna listen, even though it totally makes sense.
Yep. So I, of course, am incensed at all
Right.
this. This is okay. We're gonna put a stop to this. But then, yeah, we're taken down to like the worst place. There's all these platforms, these square platforms all over the place with these rickety wooden bridges between them.
Okay.
And then down below are all the like thousands of chained up slaves, all chained up and just being chained up slaves.
Right.
Down below.
They're being used as human batteries to power the Matrix.
Yeah, or something. And so we are like somehow deposited on these platforms. And then how did she introduce herself? Sort of go,
Then there was
"Wahaha."
someone I think introduced that but anyway, someone introduced all prepare for the presence of the eternal Serpent Queen.
All bow down for Her Majesty, etc.
Right.
This beautiful yuan-ti comes in, and she's not like a giant
Not me.
snake. She's a yuan-ti.
Yeah. We pretend her to my throne.
And Cricket is sure it's not her because Cricket has been obsessed with how she's not going to have breasts because she's a snake. But the yuan-ti has breasts. And that's
Also-
like for sure this isn't me.
I think it was more the pain slavery thing that was.
No, I thought it was the breasts all the way. Anyway, she's like, she has her entourage of immortal guards. And at this point,
Yeah.
Cricket starts arguing with the Obelisk, and everyone's arguing with the Obelisk.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this philosophical argument is going to take the form of a combat. We represented by a combat with the eternal Serpent Queen and her guards. So we had a combat
Yeah.
with the eternal Serpent Queen and her
And
guards.
I certainly didn't mind the concept of beating the crap out of this eternal Serpent Queen either, so.
The other thing that, and this came into effect now, is as soon as they entered the dream, this basically first happened when they were in the lecture thing, so, a disembodied voice that wasn't the Obelisk started talking to them.
Oh, right, yes. It was a familiar voice.
So on the Destiny prognostication engine is powered by the future predictive power of the stars. And it turns out that what ended up happening to Aurora after she was let loose in time is that she was captured and is now ensconced in the Destiny prognostication engine.
Along with lots of other ones.
And
There's like the dome is like a planetarium with stars stuck to the...
Right.
so since she's part of creating the reality that is before them, she was able to talk to them, catch up with the party, and also she granted them an extended rest when they entered the dream. And she was also able to give them something of their choice, like manifesting. So each person gets to pick 2 magic items, any magic item, any level, any rarity, 2 magic items.
Which will be useful because I lost 2 magic items in the course of this fight, but we'll get to that. So we started out scattered around, and then there were a bunch of these guards, super high-level warrior types, and they're probably pain-slaved up the wazoo. And then in the middle there's a platform with the Eternal Serpent Queen, and she's got like 4 guards or 5 guards, something like that, around her to sort of like be a living barrier, because pain slaves aren't enough. You need layers of living barriers. All armor must be alive.
Did you cast Earthquake on her platform?
No. They won initiative.
Oh.
I know. Serendipity failed us. They rolled really high as well. I assume they had a super high bonus.
They had a high initiative. Serendipity gets 2 rolls on initiative, and I think she rolled like a 3 and a 5, and I rolled like an 18.
Yeah.
And so I won initiative for the first time in
who knows
like
how
years.
10 levels.
Yeah.
It's been ridiculous. So they start the fight, and a bunch of the guards, they have these swords that when they hit you, it like forms a lesser pain slave bond. You get 20 ongoing necrotic damage, and the ongoing damage you take, they heal. So they're constantly sucking your hit points.
Right.
Just by hitting you. It's an ongoing effect.
Yeah, are there swords called Occam's Razor?
No.
Occam's Razor is like the simplest explanation is.
No, I know what it is, but is that?
I don't. Yeah.
I see.
Philosophical combat.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was trying to link it to the pain slaving thing, and I'm like, pain slavery is not the simplest solution to.
No, that's exactly it. I wasn't connecting the joke.
Anyway.
No, just Occam's Razor drains your mental fortitude. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I didn't take the.
It's not that intricately. Yeah.
Themed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically you have to fight something to do with this vision.
Yeah. Right.
And.
Yeah. So a bunch of those guys landed blows. And Cricket used Gloves of Camaraderie to pull the effect off of Serendipity onto herself, because she's not gonna, let any sort of pain slavery get past her if she can help it.
Right.
So I think everyone wound up with the ongoing effect except Serendipity, because I pulled it off, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Because they hit very, very well.
Yeah.
I think everyone got hit except for maybe Croesus. Oh no, Croesus got hit, but he took pains to point out that he still, even though, because he gets that thing where he can like get rid of half the damage, but he still takes the effect.
Right.
And he was like, all right, fine. I have 20 ongoing necrotic damage. However, half the time that's 0. Half the time it's half to 10, and I resist 9 of all damage. So I have ongoing half necrotic damage.
A half point. Yes.
So, and then the Eternal Serpent Queen went, and she did some sort of mental attack. I can't remember if there was any sort of invisible wah-wah to it, but she attacked Cricket and hit her with something, and Cricket was dazed. So, one action. Save ends. And John said, "Let me know if you fail the save."
Uh-oh.
And the Eternal Serpent Queen was like, "Oh, this is so appropriate." And so I was like, all right, as soon as I fail a save, she's going to dominate me. Because that keeps happening to Cricket.
Right.
It's so annoying. And yeah, the Eternal Serpent Queen dominating the true queen seems like the sort of thing that, a BS philosophical debate would throw at me.
Right, yes.
So that,
Maybe you really are evil.
I would never live it down if I took her side in this.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so then it was the party's turn. I consider my options. I don't want to fail the save. I have two options. I have a sliver of... Oh, and also the save is at what? -3?
-2. But...
-2.
Oh.
So yeah.
It's really hard to say.
Uh-huh. So I have a couple options. I have a consumable called the Sliver of Salvation. It'll give me a +6 bonus on one saving throw.
Ooh.
So that's handy.
That is handy.
But there's still a risk there.
Yep.
And so instead, in my inventory, I'm not wearing it anymore, but I have this parry act, which allows me to end an effect that a save can end. But I'm not wearing it. So I asked John, what sort of action would it take to doff my my cloak of the elven kind and slip this thing back on? And John said standard be fine. So I did that, and then used my action point to trigger it. And John magnanimously said, okay, since you've ended the days so quickly like that,
before your turn's over,
you can go ahead and do the rest of your actions that you have left. So I was able to make an attack.
Yeah, because his day's action, was.
I don't remember how it all went down, but yeah. So I wanted to use...
Is your familiar around?
Yes, actually. 2 sessions ago, I had her go and hide herself on Serendipity. She has a collar of what was it, recall or something like that, which allows me to teleport to her location. So I figured it'd be nice to have a free teleport to Serendipity's location if I need it. It hasn't come up yet. I'm sure everyone's forgotten. So
I find that familiars can be very helpful in changing your equipment, because they can remove the cloaks and add the necklace.
I wasn't aware of that.
I mean, think about it, right?
I also have dozens of unseen serpents, but
they can do that for you as well.
John giving me those actions from the days being removed, more than makes up for that. So
you remember when Gil had his hand?
Oh right.
Yeah, that hand was. I think it had a special ability though that was definitely give free action.
Do a quick draw thing.
Yeah.
Gave you free quick draw. I don't think Katie did as she's a little humanoid that big. Anyway, so I was going to use Frenzied Rhythm, which is a close burst 5 thing that lets me, when I hit my enemies, I make them attack each other.
Right.
But I have to be adjacent to them.
So it's like, oh, you dominate me, no, I dominate you.
Essentially, yes.
Yes.
It's not a dominate effect, but it is still, make them attack each other. I felt that would be an appropriate thing to do as vengeance for trying that on me. But I have to be adjacent. So I used what's the shadow staff. So I basically the guard who was next to me that hit me with the sword, I slither into his shadow and come out of the shadow of a guard next to the Serpent Queen.
Now the 2 Serpent Queens adjacent to each other.
Well, no, I wasn't adjacent to her. I was adjacent to the guard that was adjacent to her. There was no space right adjacent to her. But it's a close burst 5. I'll get her. I'll get all of the guards around her. I'm going to have them all turn on her and start beating the crap out of her. But first, I roll the 2 hits. I go around and roll them all. And I critically hit on one of them, one of the guards. And it's the critical effect is I don't expend the ability.
Ooh.
So that was nice.
Hey, do it again.
And then I rolled a nat 20 on the Eternal Serpent Queen. Perfect. So I pulled out the critical table. I rolled 18. It's an extreme critical.
So you go to the next table?
I go to the best effect on the extreme table because I'm using a +6 weapon. Dominate for the encounter. This is like the best roll I've made in the entire campaign.
Yeah.
I could not have asked for a better situation for that to come out. It was beautiful.
Wow, you that was a strong counter argument.
Oh yes. Yes, you try to dominate me? No, you are mine. So John said, since I essentially had opened the doors of her brain, I was able to sort of see a little bit of what was going on with her. She This is like 300 years in the future, or so. She has apparently captured and pain-slaved me.
Okay.
I immediately object that you can't pain-slave a true domestic.
Right.
It's impossible.
They have no soul.
Yeah. But apparently she's come up with some kind of weird workaround for that impossibility. I don't know.
Or maybe that was a good argument against, who knows?
Yeah.
But either way,
Arguments are irrelevant. It's just not true. It's impossible. So anyway, John allows me to pull Future Cricket out of the cage she's in, and that she appears next to the Eternal Serpent Queen. So now there's two crickets. One of them is from 300 years in the future in a dream made by this prognostication engine.
Right.
And I've dominated the Eternal Serpent Queen, so she's fighting for me. And she's got this ability, which it's yet again another layer of pain slave type thing.
Right.
She has this ability to cause her guards to dive in front of attacks against her.
yes, and she specifically, because I knew she was fighting here, if anyone knocked her off the platform, she could just automatically make another guard fall off instead of her.
Oh yes, I should have mentioned. The guards are really tough to fight because they're pain slaved up to wazoo and they're just tough. But if you knock them off of the platform, they go and fall amongst all the pain slaves, and the pain slaves tear them apart because they hate them.
And then because of its vision and things always work out perfectly, the very slaves that tear them apart die because they are their pain slaves. So they fall in the pit and then they tear them apart and then there's just a swath of dead slaves around the dead.
Yeah. So knocking these guys off of the catwalks, I shouldn't have inhaled that mushroom.
Yeah, no.
I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's got this ability to make her guards fall off on her behalf.
Right.
And so basically I'm just like, it's her turn? Okay, she makes some guards fall off. So it made the combat go very quickly. Still, nevertheless, Cricket and Future Cricket were both down to single-digit hit points at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, it was still a pretty nasty couple of rounds. So
Those guards were not messing around.
Future Cricket needed to go and save Serendipity, so she used a Broom of Flying. Has this ability where you can summon it to you from 60 squares away, up to 60 squares away.
Okay.
So Future Cricket summoned past Cricket's Broom of Flying away from her so that she could get over to Serendipity. So now I'm down a Cloak of Elvenkind and a Broom of Flying. Future Cricket, of course, has no items at all because she was in prison.
Right.
So that was pretty fun. And then past Cricket, I think, used Future Cricket used Majestic Word to heal them both up and stuff. Anyway, the important thing, though, was that Future Cricket took the time to tell past Cricket everything she needed to know about how this dark future came to pass. Because she immediately recognized, you're a past version of myself. You need to know this.
Right. Here's how to avoid this bad future.
Yes, this is how I was captured and who did it and all that sort of stuff. So now I got a bunch of... it's not exactly future knowledge because it's from a predictive machine instead of actually going and seeing it. So there's no Jenga involved in this.
Right.
So yeah, we won. And we won gloriously.
Yeah.
Cricket is so happy about it. Well, she isn't happy about this whole pain slavery future thing, but...
Right. You would have thought the invisible servants would have negated the desire to even have.
The big pain slave made sure to suppress that research.
So yes, this has convinced Cricket more than anything that she cannot leave her position.
Right.
Yes, the Empire will backslide if she doesn't
keep maintain
a. She has to be the moral center of the Empire.
The democratically elected moral center.
It's like a constitutional monarchy, except I can kill anyone I want.
Right.
And so they didn't actually even have to kill the Eternal Serpent Queen because she just was theirs.
Yeah.
And then, so I guess they did well in that argument.
Yep.
And
he took the derp's premise and turned it against himself. Yep.
Basically, the Obelisk was taking the position that this dark future is inevitable, and it's horrible, and so I have to kill everyone to prevent this from happening.
Right.
And our counter argument was, no, it isn't.
Nuh-uh. Watch.
Yep.
See your stupid future? We just trashed it.
Yeah. But that's not its only argument.
Oh, what other argument does it propose?
Well, we don't know yet because that's where the session ended. But
it's going to show them
starting a new one.
A new vision of the future.
My guess is that there's a dark future for each of us.
Ah.
You know, this is what happens. The dark future for, you know, serendipity. Oh, she's got a zit. Ah.
She has no name. She has no face.
So yeah, we will see what other arguments it has about how the future sucks. But that's where things stand. So yeah, John has given us basically 2 magic items of any sort, which is good because I'm down 2 magic items. Future Cricket stole my broom.
I think you can have your broom back.
Okay, assume you get your broom back when the vision's in. You actually have your broom in non-vision form.
You don't want to steal a domestic's broom.
Without it, how would they clean?
Oh yes, and we all leveled up because John's subscription to D&D Insider comes up for renewal in a month, and we want to get that
shut down.
And I mean, yeah, they're entering the vision, the set of visions. It's a good time to level up to level 30. So
we only spent like 2 sessions at level 29.
But it's coming to the end of the game, so
yeah, and I mean that's partly because like what you guys did with the Goblin thing.
Oh yeah.
It just kind of made the lead up to the Obelisk a little shorter.
I guess killing 90% of the warforged in the world gives you a lot of XP.
Yeah.
So you said 2 of any magic item. Does that include artifacts? You know, the obelisk counts as a magic item, doesn't it?
I want an obelisk.
Probably not an artifact.
I want 2 obelisks.
In 4th edition, those things are like have a whole thing to them. So no, probably not an artifact.
Well, some of them actually aren't all that powerful.
Yeah.
I was looking through the list of artifacts because I was like, ooh, I could take an artifact. But some of them are like actually much weaker than standard items. I don't know if Robin will receive my suggestion because it was sent by a Slack, but I suggested that Ben Gerard should request that Wand of Wonder Bone of the Earth.
the infinite bone of the earth. Ding, 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 ding. Just make.
Yeah, and then push the obelisk down.
Yeah, just push the obelisk down the stairs.
There was an awful lot of discussion about fashion, specifically for cricket. That was unusual. Everyone wanted to play dress up. But yes, it's quite amusing with his absolute refusal to participate, even though the vision said exactly everything he would have argued for.
Don't listen to it.
Yep. Don't listen to it, even though it's completely correct.
They were talking,
even more reason not to trust it.
They were talking about, I think it was because this was similar to when they went in Croesus' mind or whatever, but they were talking about how Croesus was talking about how he now believes that things aren't a dream. And someone's like, but this is a dream. And he's like, yeah, I know this is a dream. But yeah, other stuff isn't a dream.
Not everything is real, you know.
Not everything is a dream. Not everything is real.
Yeah. You know, everything in moderation, including reality. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out whose dark future we see next.
Whose dark future is next? Yeah.
I handled mine pretty well. So anyway, that was the session.
Yeah,
I dominated.
Yeah. You went from almost being dominated to dominating.
Yep. I went backseas on that one.
Yeah.
Cricket's absolute pig-headed fanaticism once again has turned out well for her.
Right. Yes. Which I imagine was part of the counter-argument. Like,
yes.
Sorry, I'm pig-headedly fanatic.
Yes.
It's not going to pass.
Here's my counter-argument. No.
No.
How about not that? Which is basically how Croesus deals with these things too, so...
Yeah, he's more like, this isn't happening, this isn't happening, this isn't happening, this isn't happening.
So, it's important to remember that this is Deserter, propaganda. And we don't listen to it. We don't think about it. We don't let it affect what we feel or what we do, and nothing that we do here matters. Those are the rules. No matter how intuitive or rational it may seem, or how it proves everything that I said was right about cricket, it's a lie. I know that you are all members of the other races, and it's very hard for you to do this, but this is the rules and the law.
I think Croesus is completely on the money there. We should ignore this, but we can also kill it. And, I mean, kill the manifestations of the dream like we did with throwing those guys off these bridges. Because this is a dream, and it's the wrong dream, and we have to go back, and all those other things that Croesus used to say all the time. What else? I guess I could count. 1, 2, 3. You get the idea.
I really feel like Croesus might have something to say about this situation. Maybe something along the lines of the wrong dream. Yeah, something like that.
I'm quite concerned about Croesus's plan of taking the obelisk back and trying to fix it. If something this old and this powerful has changed so much, I don't know. What if you can't fix it? Is it going to influence the other oblin? It just seems too dangerous. I think we should destroy it. But then what would that do? I wonder if there's any magic items around here.
I've been thinking. We're approaching baseline. History runs out, and the future could be anything. And so I was considering, does the Empire truly need the Serpent Queen anymore? I mean, they've been doing very well with just light guidance. But now I know. I have to maintain my position, because the substitute is so much worse. This is excellent foreknowledge. Thank you, Obelisk. Not thank you for attempting to massacre the whole world, but you did have a tidbit of wisdom there. And everyone else in the group is saying, oh, ignore. But I think this is something I should probably pay some attention to.